Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Monday evening to you all. Hope you guys are doing great out there tonight and had yourselves a wonderful day. And I hope everyone's been having a great beginning to their week out there so far. And more importantly, I hope you folks are staying safe. We have ongoing severe weather right this second across multiple states. And I know a lot of people are probably tuning into the people going live, whether they're storm chasers or giving you guys a live feed. And I just want to do my part on my channel here and keep you guys ahead of the storm, what could happen over the next several hours, and then what could happen into tomorrow, which will be our primary focus in this video. So we're going to speak on tomorrow's severe weather threat. We'll go over the latest information per the Storm Prediction Center as far as their outlook. The bad news is once again, we do have a risk of significant severe weather for your Tuesday. The good news is it could be the last day for the foreseeable future that gives us a risk of significant severe weather, as I do think after tomorrow it just dramatically cuts off. I think we'll have a risk of severe weather for Wednesday for a small area of the extreme eastern U.S., but I don't even think it'll be comparable to what we've seen over the last several days. So we just got to get through the next 36 hours or so. So the first thing we'll go over is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow's severe weather threat. Just note that this could change, could go up another category. These areas could shrink and get larger and so forth. And then we'll break it down state by state as far as the states that are going to see impacts from the severe weather overnight really into tomorrow. And then we'll be done. Hopefully this video doesn't take too much of your time. It won't be as long as the morning videos, that's for sure. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put in the comments below. Stay tuned for the very end of the video. Just going to give some, just say a few words and all that if you're interested in that. So let's get rocking and rolling. So this is the latest outlook for tomorrow, Tuesday, May the 20th. We have an enhanced risk across areas of, unfortunately, like southern Kentucky down to middle to eastern portions of Tennessee, all of middle and western Tennessee, northern areas of Alabama and Mississippi, and a very small section of northwestern Georgia. Enhanced risk in the orange, level 3 out of 5. Slight risk around that in the yellow, a level 2 out of 5. And we do have a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5. It does kind of stretch into the Carolinas. We actually have a lower end tornado threat into the Carolinas for tomorrow. So we just got to watch some storms that can escape the main area that's going to see that severe weather risk. Just because you don't live in that orange or yellow area, that doesn't mean that you're not going to see any severe weather for tomorrow. I think most people know that already, but I always just want to reiterate it. So enhanced risk up pretty large, could go up another category. Tornado outlook for tomorrow, that yellow area, Nashville, Bowling Green, most of southern Kentucky, Clarksville, Jackson, Memphis, Dyersburg, down to Huntsville, Florence, Alabama, down to Tupelo, all of northern Mississippi. A 10% risk of a strong tornado within 25 miles in a given location for tomorrow. That brown area includes the rest of Tennessee, all the way down into Birmingham, almost all the way down to Meridian and Jackson, and includes almost the entire rest of Kentucky. 5% risk of a tornado. And you notice that 2% risk of a tornado goes all the way to the Carolina coastline. So some of these cells, that can get going in the Carolinas tomorrow could do something tricky. We just got to watch them. So the wind threat, though, this is the interesting thing for tomorrow. A wind threat has definitely increased. That pink area, that is a 45% chance of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour. I honestly wasn't expecting the wind threat to increase by this much, but here we are. Red area, a 30% risk of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour, and that 15. That yellow area is a 15% risk. So Nashville over to Knoxville, down to just about Chattanooga, all the way down to Huntsville, Florence, Alabama. 45% chance in that pink area of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour. Big time wind threat for tomorrow. The hail threat not as high, but if you live in that yellow area, that is a 15% risk of hail exceeding 1 inch in diameter or larger. I do want to take another look at this severe weather threat for tomorrow, because I know some areas to the north got cut off when explaining all that. But Indianapolis, you do have that slight risk. This slight risk goes all the way up through the southern half of Indiana and Illinois. It includes Louisville, Lexington, up to Cincinnati, even up to St. Louis. And if you look at the tornado threat, you do have that 5% risk of a tornado that does get all the way up into Indianapolis. Evansville, Louisville, Lexington, Cincinnati, St. Louis, 5% risk of a tornado. And then the wind threat 15% risk of winds exceeding 55 to 60 miles per hour. And there is the hail threat. So just a 15% risk of that. Now let's go on and break it down state by state. Let's start off in Louisiana. I know your threat of severe weather isn't too high, but I don't want to leave you guys out. Starting off around 8 a.m. tomorrow. We start to get to about midday. Not a whole lot going on. We'll get to about 2, 3, 4. Some storms trying to get going here. And northeastern areas of Louisiana. Doesn't look too bad, but then we get to about 6, 7. This is where we can get some stronger to severe storms that fires up around Alexandria, maybe up to Monroe. And really, I would say the northeastern parishes of Louisiana probably have the highest risk of severe weather. And you can't rule out an all hazards type deal with this. I don't think there'll be a whole lot of forcing down here to really get these storms going. But certainly could get some strong to severe storms from Alexandria to Monroe, everybody in between. Back over to Lake Charles, Shreveport, probably not going to get as much of storm coverage. If any storms do form, they could pack a punch for sure. Now we head on up to Arkansas. I want to start this around 10 p.m. tonight. A lot of convection, severe weather ongoing in eastern Oklahoma right now. All this will begin to shift into western Arkansas into the late evening hours. So this is 10 p.m. tonight. This congealed area of storm activity will take over western Arkansas. This will crash into like Little Rock, Hot Springs. This is 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. A lot of storm activity. 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Still strong storms ongoing in central Arkansas. And then we get into tomorrow. What happens tomorrow? We start to get to 11 a.m. Midday. This is 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. 1 or 2 isolated strong to severe storms could fire up, kind of northeast of Little Rock up to Jonesboro, maybe into the Memphis area, but it really wants to stay confined to the Mississippi River area. You know, western Arkansas, once you get into tomorrow afternoon, I think things will be pretty chilled out. Not going to get much of anything, probably nothing actually. But we get into about 6, 7 p.m. tomorrow, and looks pretty fine. So I would just watch out tomorrow early to mid-afternoon for some strong to severe storms that could fire up in the eastern counties of Arkansas. Now up here in Missouri, I'm going to start off around 9 p.m. tonight. By the time some of you folks are watching this, maybe this is the past already, but we're just going to have a very stormy night in Missouri. Just a lot of storm activity. I mean, St. Louis just getting clobbered by a lot of storms overnight. The severe weather threat as far as tornadoes, probably lower, just a lot of congealed thunderstorm activity, but there could be some isolated spin-ups and all this heavy rain activity tonight. So it's a night that you should always have your alerts set up on your phone to get tornado warnings. But definitely tonight is the night for it in Missouri. And then you got to watch for just a spin that kind of moves into Kansas City. Be interesting to see what this area of storms do well after midnight. Kansas City and sweeps across northern Missouri. And then we get into tomorrow. And then what happens? Maybe an area of storms late morning, 11 a.m. fires up in northeast Missouri. And we just got to watch southeastern Missouri. Some storms could get going here. It's around 1 p.m. The ingredients will still be there for a brief period for a quick spin up, an isolated tornado. Just be mindful of that. But we start to get to 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe additional storms in the Boot Hill, 5, 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. You see them down there. So very possible for that. So we'll watch out. But getting after midnight, some calm, stable air will probably begin to move in and really cut off that severe weather threat. Now, Illinois and Indiana, starting off around midnight tonight, big area of heavy rain and storm activity moves and takes over the western areas of the state of Illinois. We get to 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Tomorrow morning, just heavy rain from Peoria down to Louisville, down to Evansville, moving into Indianapolis. And by the time we start to get into tomorrow's severe weather threat, could get a clearing. And then we got to start to watch out for tomorrow afternoon. Even some storms. These might be elevated up here, but these storms could produce a lot of hail. Maybe not much of a tornado threat with these storms. Maybe. It just depends on how much moisture gets up to these storms. If you can get kind of a slither of better moist air up into these storms, it'll feel more of a tornado threat. But I would watch out for the entire state of Illinois early to mid-afternoon tomorrow for widespread strong to severe thunderstorms. I mean, they could be anywhere. You know, this specific model run has a line of storms from Springfield up to Peoria all the way up to Rockford. Does have some storms moving in Chicago about late afternoon. And look at all this storm activity into southern Indiana. We got a line of storms moving into northwest Indiana. And then after that, maybe some lingering showers and maybe an isolated storm. But, you get into the overnight hours, things begin to calm down in Indiana and Illinois. So Alabama, Mississippi. Starting tomorrow morning, maybe some storms in the northern areas of Mississippi, but then we start to get into about 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. These cells in northern Mississippi could produce strong tornadoes. There's a 10% risk of an EF2 or higher tornado down here for a reason, and these could be tornado-producing supercells. Greenville, watch out Greenwood over to Tupelo. Watch out for these storms, even some firing up in northern Alabama, and potential for rotating thunderstorms all throughout northern to central Mississippi. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they extend that 10% risk of a tornado maybe a little bit further south down to Jackson, but you see these circles coming off some of these cells where we have maybe the opportunity for rotating intense updrafts. But this action into tomorrow evening will drift into northern Alabama. But still be back all the way to Jackson. Watch out Meridian up to Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, and then it could turn into just sort of a draping line of storms tomorrow evening. It's around 11 p.m. Storms sort of just moving southeast across areas of Mississippi and Alabama. By the time we get to tomorrow morning, things should calm on down. So, obviously Kentucky, Tennessee, the big two states for this risk. But starting off around 3, 4, 5 o'clock, we're already going to have some storms in southern to northern areas of Kentucky. And a line of storms could be moving into western Tennessee. And then we start to get to 8 a.m. Could have just stormy conditions throughout Kentucky and western Tennessee. And then we take it to about 12 p.m. tomorrow, lunchtime. Line of storms could be surging through middle Tennessee. And I do think the atmosphere will try to get unstable here in eastern Kentucky, eastern Tennessee. So this energy you see in middle Tennessee around lunchtime tomorrow could begin to tap into more of an unstable environment. And then look at that, Somerset. Intense thunderstorm going right over you around 2 p.m. tomorrow, and you guys don't need any tornadoes in this area. But you're going to have a line of storms pretty early in the afternoon that gets going. And look at these storms here in western Kentucky. Some supercells trying to show up here. And so we got, looks like 2 rounds. First round moves in and out late morning, early afternoon. Then we got to watch the supercells behind this in western Kentucky, western and middle Tennessee. They don't look very pronounced as far as having that look to them, but this is just simulated model, guys. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but just widespread strong to severe storms. This is 6 p.m. tomorrow across Tennessee and then the western half of Kentucky. By the time we start to get into around 8, 9 p.m., we got to watch for this is 8 p.m. for example, we got to watch for a line of storms that tries to develop in the eastern half of Tennessee and Kentucky, especially Tennessee. You just got to be careful. It's about 8 p.m., sun's beginning to set. Cookeville to Knoxville, down to Chattanooga. These storms could produce widespread damaging winds and embedded tornadoes, and then they'll crash right into the mountains, the Smokies of Tennessee and North Carolina. And I do think they'll begin to weaken pretty quickly as they move into the Carolinas. And I don't really have the Carolinas shown in this, but I'll pull it up on the fly here. Let's see. Let's go all the way out here in time. Yeah, we got to watch for a line of storms that could impact, say, southern West Virginia, western Virginia. See this line of storms moving in. This is around 7 p.m. tomorrow. I think this will weaken pretty fast. But, getting into about, I would say, 11 p.m., midnight tomorrow night, we could have a lot of storm activity starting to move into the western areas of North Carolina. Some storms up here in northern North Carolina, southern Virginia. And how much will these storms hold together? 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning in the Greenville-Spartanburg area down to Charlotte. I think it's a big question we need to figure out, but it does have these storms weakening as we get into our Wednesday morning. But, just looking at the updraft velocity swath, this indicates where we have our more intense updrafts, maybe rotating updrafts, maybe a higher tornado threat. And it really just pinpoints on this particular run Tennessee, Kentucky, southern Kentucky especially. And we look at the deep south with this, and it shows some supercells, especially in Mississippi, with this threat for tomorrow. And I will show you what the wind gust swath looks like, and it really doesn't reflect well that 45% risk of damaging winds. I honestly think that they pulled the trigger on it a little bit too fast, but I'm not an expert. I don't work at the Storm Prediction Center office, so guys, I mean, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, that's as deep as I'm going to get. So be safe for tomorrow. I'll get probably a good bit more detailed for tomorrow morning's video, but I know a lot of people are probably tuning in, people going live, and rightfully so. But did just want to say thanks. A video this morning actually hit 10,000 views. I think that's my first video that hit 10,000 views since April 3rd, so a month and a half. So it's been a grind this spring. But thank you for tuning into my stuff. I appreciate any new subscribers, and I appreciate people who've joined my channel. I don't promote joining my channel really at all, probably once a month or once every 2 months, but I'm looking at it every day, and I see where, heck, once a week someone joins my channel. And I really appreciate people, that just join my channel and support me unconditionally, man. It just means so much. And I don't have any cool things to offer, but, you guys just supporting what I do unconditionally, I appreciate y'all so much. Trust me, it doesn't go unnoticed. If you're a new viewer to my channel, you know that, well, if you're a new viewer to my channel, you don't know much about my channel. So this is more of a laid-back channel. It's more of a personal YouTube channel, and I'm big on showing appreciation. I'm big on acknowledging all the comments when I can. There is times where it just gets so ridiculously busy that I just get behind, and I just have to let a couple videos worth of comments just go. Anyways, sorry that video was a little bit more sloppy. I'm just gassed from repeating. The thing about severe weather, and I'll be completely honest with you, is I don't enjoy talking about it near as much. I enjoy getting out there and chase when I can. But severe weather is something that I would like to be out in the open field, just experiencing it kind of in a more of a physical way, enjoying your passion, which mine is the weather. So, and just not able to do that with this stage of my life as much as I would like to, but that's okay. God has me where I'm at for a reason. But if you're new to the channel, stick around for the tropics and winter weather. There's a different side of me that a lot of my people that's been tuning in for a while but can voice to. So looking forward to that. But of course, we're not pulling for a landfall in Category 4 or 5 hurricane. But I'm just kind of rambling at this point. But lastly, I'll just say this. I haven't really talked on this in a long time, and there's a lot of people that probably won't make it to this part of the video, and I'll probably go live and talk about it at some point over the coming weeks. But my mind has been flooding with a lot of ideas lately of what I'm going to do as far as taking this channel to another level. And when I say to another level, for my longtime viewers that like it the way it is, that's not me turning into some mainstream channel where everything's all flashy, lights blasting in the background, and I lose my personal touch. It's nothing like that. What I mean is, I would like to have my own office space in my house, have a nice setup, give the attention to my channel to what it deserves. And I have a channel that's over 100,000 subscribers, and I'm still making videos in my bedroom. And it's just time to change some things. But as far as upgrading the channel, a couple things that I would like to do is I would like to go live for you guys. Not really storm chasing live. Maybe on down the road I can do that. But I would like to set up my channel where I can go live. I know it's kind of like what Ryan Hall or the Max guy does. And just test out the waters with that. I've had a lot of people give me some feedback saying that they think I would do pretty good with that. And I think it will be awesome. Like, for example, the night before a winter storm or something in the southeast, because I know most of my viewers in this area are just going live answering questions and things like that. And I think it would bring a really cool new element to the channel. But just, go through waves where I'm antsy for doing something new with the channel, because I haven't made any upgrades to the channel in a couple years. So just antsy for change. Sometimes that antsiness is louder at times, and sometimes it's quiet. But normally when the growth gets really slow on my channel, that's when the antsiness gets more, if you will. So anyways, I would like some feedback on some things, and in the future, I might I might do something like that and just begin to invest in this channel sometime in the maybe in the near future. I'll be honest, a lot of it is having trust in YouTube and dealing with what happened last hurricane season. Definitely cut off my trust a little bit with YouTube, so I'm having to build that back up with them. And obviously, YouTube is what brings in, you know, it brings in funds with making the videos and stuff like that. So it makes a difference with that kind of stuff. So that's enough of my rambling. God bless all y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. Appreciate y'all very much. Thank you for the supports, all the kind words. I haven't seen any negative comments in weeks. So just appreciate all the positivity and the uplifting spirit. So God bless all y'all. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you again soon.